Let's talk some high school football. I'm Fox 23 Sports Director Nathan Thompson, along with the Tulsa World's Barry Lewis, for a very interesting week here because a lot of especially the big schools, they're on byes this week because they played in week 0, they get a bye, and this is the week that they chose, apparently.
Yes, a little bit of a lighter week than normal. Well, it is the lightest week of the season, but there's still some good matchups.
Yeah, so let's go over Barry's top 5. That's in the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World. You can also check it out on okprepsextra.com. Number 1 game, though. This is a really nice game. Wagner at Grove is number 1. It's the Fox 23 game of the week. We'll be live out there in Grove coming up Friday night, but this is kind of a great rematch from last year's really interesting and weirdly ending game.
Yes, you're alluding to Grove took an intentional safety on the final play because they thought that's what they needed to do for tiebreaker points to win the district, and that was not what they needed to do. So that gave Wagner the win after Grove had made a really nice comeback late to tie the game. And so this is just sort of a continuation of that because most of the players from that game, the starting players, are back again. So it's like, okay, this is what would have happened if overtime would have been played. And so it's great. Last year's game was for the district title pretty much. This year's game is a non-district game, so there's not as much at stake, except both teams really want to win. It's a great matchup as the individual matchup. Grove's outstanding running back, Emmanuel Crawford, against Wagner's defense, which is, as their coach Dale Condit says, is really stingy. Last year, Wagner's defense held Crawford to only 114 yards, which is like about half his average, and no TDs. So I think that's going to be the key matchup again.
Game number 2, Lincoln Christian has looked so good this year. They're just blowing out opponents here in Oklahoma, so now they're going to Arkansas to take on Shiloh Christian, which is another quality program out of Arkansas.
Yes, and Lincoln needs a test, especially looking down the road for the playoffs. They need to be tested, and this could be the test. Shiloh has won 8 state titles since '98. They're a perennial state title contender. They scored 72 points last week at Victory Christian. So, yes, Lincoln will be tested, and so far this year they've been a juggernaut. Their new quarterback, Luke Milligan, has been nearly perfect. But this will be a good road battle for Lincoln.
And speaking of undefeated local teams hitting the road and going to Arkansas, your number 3 game is 3rd-ranked Metro Christian in Class 3A going to Arkansas to take on Prairie Grove. Metro
has a lot of momentum coming off a big comeback win at Poto last week when it scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes to pull off the victory. Poto and Prairie Grove are a lot alike, running the same similar wing T offense, except in the words of Metro coach Jared McCoy, Prairie Grove is a little bit more physical and a little faster. So Metro will have its hands full.
Game number 4, number 1 in Class 3A, Verdigris on the road at number 4 in Class 2A, Beggs. This is your 4th game because of last week's game for the Demons. If they got blown out by Rejoice Christian, before that you thought this might be higher on the list.
Yes, it would have very much been higher, but Beggs, it was really a tough week, losing by 54 to Rejoice by 54 points. And so they don't have much time to bounce back to get it turned around against Verdigris, which is the number 1 team in 3A and has looked really good so far this year.
And rounding out your top 5, Berry Hill at Cushing.
A very competitive series throughout the years, although Cushing won in a rout last year, so Berry Hill will want to get them back. Yes, it's got a tradition of a lot of good games, and this definitely has the potential to be another one.
All right. Light week on the schedule, but still some good games. If you want to read Barry's write-up on the top 5 area games, you can get the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World. Of course, you can go to okprepsextra.com, get it online. Plus, there's 5 honorable mention games where you do a little write-up on each one of those as well, including Collinsville at my alma mater, Bartlesville, so that's good. So make sure you pick up a Tulsa World on Tuesday, and then on Friday for a preview of all the action. Saturday, they'll have the scores and the game recaps and the great pictures from the Tulsa World photography staff. And once again, okprepsextra.com, great website to go to. For Fox 23, Friday at 6:20. Spencer will be live from the game of the week, Wagner at Grove, and at 10:15 he'll be live with highlights, and plus we'll have other highlights from around town, and then our 30-minute show, high school football tonight at 11 o'clock. You'll be there, Barry, as our analyst in that show, so make sure you watch that. We'll have lots of highlights and lots of games, plus reaction, and of course, expert analysis right there. If you don't catch our show, you can get all of our coverage on fox23.com. Just click on the high school football tab on the sports page. All right, that's it. Have a great week.